Hallelujah. Thanking the Most High God for the life of Amos, being Rosh Uziel. Amos is growing and he's getting better at this every time he speaks. So we thank the Most High God for keeping him in this way, for keeping him strong, because that's what we need. We were Chief O'Connor was talking about passing the baton, and it's a good thing when these young men, young women are like this, ready to grab the baton and take off, because that's what we need. That's what this is all about. So thanking the Most High God for his words. And I see that college education has really expanded your vocabulary. Mm-hmm. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So we thank the Most High God for that. And then here I come with no college education. But y'all gonna get what y'all gonna get. All praises, all honor. Kol hakavod LeYah Yisrael, LeElohei Avraham, Yitzchak Yisrael. Thanking the Most High God and all glory to his name, for he is great. Let us say hallelujah. Hallelujah. I hope y'all feeling good today. This portion is called Equev. Does anyone know what Equev means? Equev is because of, due to. This portion it's like a condition to something that you do as a result of. This Torah comes with conditions. The biggest word that we see in the Torah, to me, is two words. If. If. It's a condition. And it starts out just like this, because Equev is a condition. Yeah. If you do this, you get this. If you do this, you get that. And we failed so many times. So this is the man Moshe. Moshe is reiterating the things that happened to us, the things that we did. And I love the fact that Moshe did this, because he understands the people that we are, and he said, you know what, I have to drill this in their heads, with shinan tam levanecha, and that's what he's doing, so that we don't forget. You're going to see some of the same things repeated over and over in this portion, because we know our history shows us that we are forgetful people. This is the reason why we sit here every week, 52 times a week, so that we don't forget. We hear the same portions every year, but I guarantee you get something out of it every year. Every year you hear Bereshit. Every year you hear every portion, because guess what? It probably didn't click the first time, or the first 40 times. That's 40 years. But maybe you get something out of it this time. So this is the reason why Moshe is reiterating these things to the children of Yisrael, because he's warning us. There's a big warning sign. There's danger. So let us get into this portion. We are in the book of Devarim, which is Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 12th verse. And y'all know me, I'm not going to keep y'all here too long. We started late, so I'm going to try my best to zip through it. And I hope that no one gets offended by any of the things that I say. The views and the thoughts of Eraniyah ben Cohen Levi are his and his alone, and does not necessarily reflect the views and thoughts of D.C.B. So that's my disclaimer. Let us go.
We're in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 12. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And it shall come to pass, because ye hearken to these ordinances, and keep and do them, that Jehovah thy God shall keep with thee the covenant, that the mercy which he swore unto thy fathers. And he will love thee, and bless thee, and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, thy corn and thy wine and thine oil, the increase of thy kind and the young of thy flock, and the land which he swore unto thy fathers to give thee. Okay, so the Most High God, like I said, this is a condition. The Most High God said, if you do these things, he said he's going to keep the covenant that he made with our forefathers. Right.
He's going to love thee. He's going to bless thee and multiply thee. He said he's going to bless the fruit of your bodies. The fruit of your body is your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren. All the Most High God will bless. He said he's going to bless thy land, your corn, your wine, the increase. We don't really understand what this is. We don't understand what this is. This is a blessing. It's innumerous. We can't fathom, because just like the children of Yisrael then, they were born slaves. We were born slaves. We were born in Jamaica. We were born in Haiti. We were born in Bermuda, Trinidad, the United States of America, Brazil, Africa. We were born slaves. So this is all new. It's a new concept for us. They are now on the infant stages of becoming a sovereign nation, a sovereign people. They've been hearing, no, I'm good. They have been in captivity and they came out of Egypt. So now, when is this happening? How many years after Egypt? 40? 39? They're getting close to the end, right? They're getting close to the end. So Moshe, and you got to understand that the generation, their mothers and their fathers and their grandparents, they all died off. If there's one or two of them left, or any at that time, because we decided we didn't want to listen to the Most High. And all we had to do was just listen. We were afraid. We were fearful. And he decided your 11-day journey is going to turn into 40 years. And within that 40 years, I'm going to kill off everybody in that generation. Ain't that something? You said within 40 years, look to your left, look to your right. These people are not going to be here. Tamshi.
14. Thou shalt be blessed above all peoples. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle.
This is something that we go through today. How many times have you heard a woman going to the doctor trying to have Yeladim, children, and the doctor says, you can't have children? A man who is sterile can't have children. The Most High God said, these are going to be things of the past. You're not even going to think about stuff like that. Tamshi.
And Jehovah will take away from thee all sickness, and who will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt which thou knowest upon thee.
Coronavirus.
Lay them upon all them that hate thee.
AIDS, HIV, herpes, monkeypox. There's a list of them. They make up diseases. They make up new diseases every year. You know why? Because you go into the hospital and they say, we've never seen anything like this. You're the first one with this. So they'll give you a new disease. It happens all the time. And the Most High God saying, these are the diseases that I'm going to take away from you. Just think about. See, when I was reading this portion, and he said, we want you to teach this portion. How do you teach a portion like this? You gotta have to put yourself in the shoes of one of those Israelites that Moshe is talking to, and listen to the instruction that he's giving you. He's giving you the good, he's giving you the bad. Which way do you want to go? Pay attention. We don't all have to learn from, they say experience is the best teacher. Not always. Everybody can't say, yo, I went through that, man, and I came out and I'm tougher and I'm stronger. Your first experience could be your last. So now here's Moshe giving you these instructions. Pay attention. Put yourself, as we're reading this, put yourself in those shoes. Tamshi.
And thou shalt consume all the peoples that Jehovah thy God shall deliver unto thee. Thine eyes shall not pity them. Neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee.
That's a snare. It's a snare unto us. What's happening today? He said he's going to deliver them into our hands. That means we won't be fearful. You mean we're going to have courage? We're going to have all the things necessary? Because I'm going to tell you one thing about us. We're the strongest people. We're the most talented people. We're the most boisterous people. But we could be the nastiest people. We could be the dirtiest people. When we do it to the death. When we good, we super good. But when we bad, we the scum of the earth. We got to tell the truth. Moshe knows his people. He knows who he's talking to. He said, and thou shalt not serve their gods. It has always been a snare unto us. And that's why the Most High God said, these people here, he called us a treasured people. Am Segula. They're supposed to be, dare I say this word, segregated. We were never supposed to integrate with all those nations. That's what got us in trouble all the time. You know, right now in Israel, they have a museum with all the false gods. They kept them. How does that make sense? Yeah, you can go into a museum and see all these carvings and engravings of things that people built. Our people built. Created and carved out and said, this is now my God. They keep those things. Does that make any sense to anyone? Those things have always been and will forever be a snare unto us, because we always want to join to anything. If you look at us throughout the world, black people are in everything. Everything. I don't care what Christian denomination you're in, Buddhist, Hare Krishna, it's so many. I learned about one when I went to Israel, Baha'i. Well, what? Have you heard about it? You don't need to hear about it because it don't make sense. It's of naught, but we're into it all. Tamshi.
If thou shalt say in thy heart, these nations are more than thou, how can I dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them. Thou shalt remember, thou shalt well remember what Yehovah thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt.
You see, that's the thing. The Most High God used the nations and the peoples as a makkah stick. Y'all know what makkah is? A beating. He used them as a makkah stick. They did their job so well that they took our courage, that we wouldn't dare stand up. Now, yeah, we know that throughout the different captivities we had uprisings, but as a whole, as a nation, the fear is enormous. Tamshi.
The great trials which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders and the mighty hand, and the outstretched arm whereby Yehovah thy God brought thee out, so shall Yehovah thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. You
see the difference with us and them back then? We have a book, right? They were actually living these things. So in our minds, right, we could read this stuff and say, them people were crazy. All the signs and the wonders that the Most High God shown them. When the last time you walked outside and see a pillar of fire? Yeah. So you got to say to yourself, these people were nuts. But they lived in the time where they saw wonders and signs and things like this. So it was normal. Tamshi.
Moreover, Yehovah thy God will send the hornet among them, until they that are left and they that hide themselves perish from before thee.
Okay, now I was reading this, and I said, the hornet. The Most High God's name is Yehovah Zevaot, the Lord of hosts. Zevaot, his host. He said the wind, the rain, he can use all the things that he created as his host. So then I said, the hornet. The hornet is a bad mamma jamma. So I started, there's a guy, his name is Coyote Peterson. I want y'all to go to YouTube, not on Shabbat, but on your own time. Coyote Peterson. He makes a living of getting stung and bitten by different insects. Yeah, he's crazy. So he went to Japan and he found I forget what they call it, the giant Japanese hornet. This hornet, now if y'all watching on internet land, this hornet is about this big. It's about this big. They caught the hornet, and they have what do you call it, like a sting ratio. Who makes these things up? White people crazy. But anyway, they caught this hornet, and he put his arm out, and he's got the hornet in his tweezers, and he said, I'm about to, and he's breathing because he's scared, and he gives a whole introduction, and he puts this hornet, and the hornet stings him, and he went bananas. And then they had to stop the video. 14 hours later, his arm was about this size. Y'all go on YouTube and check it out. They said one of those things can kill you. Of course, they had an EpiPen, because when they're filming the show, they have to have all the procedures to try to save this man's life. You can go into shock, and he's explaining all of these things. Don't try this at home. Who's trying that? I see a regular bee, I'm running. I got stung by a bee 2 years ago. I was working outside. Bee stung me right here. That pain radiated down to my whole back. And I looked because I wanted to see what kind of bee it was. It was a regular bee. And I was in pain for about 4 hours. This man went to Japan to find the hugest hornet that he could find. He's retarded. You know you're not supposed to use that word retarded, but that man is a retard. Huh? Yeah, they love that. They love a thrill. I got enough thrills growing up in Astoria projects. Did we not? Running from bullets and all type of stuff. That's the only thrills I ever need. People be like, yo, why you don't like roller coasters? I got enough thrills in my life. I'm good. I got enough thrills. But the Most High God will send a hornet to kill you. Imagine, they said you cannot survive 3 stings of this hornet. Yehovah Zavaot. His many hosts that he can just conjure up. Okay, bees, I have a job for you. Go kill those people over there. How you gonna fight a bee? Tom Sheet.
21. Thou shalt not be affrighted at them, for Yehovah thy God is in the midst of thee a great God and awful.
Right. You see, this is Moshe continuously telling us, and he told Joshua, be strong and courageous. How many times did he tell Joshua that? Multiple times. Because he knows sometimes your heart gets, because if we standing in line and we ready to fight, as our car says, I don't know, man. They look kind of big. Good. He said it ain't gonna happen. I know Zakari, I know it's not gonna happen, but he was the first person I saw. So I'm gonna just use somebody else. I don't, right? And he's starting to get fearful, and he's shaking in his boots now. And you see him sweating, and that might trickle down. And that's what happened with the spies, right? If you ain't built for this, man, go home. I'll buy you a dog if you're scared. The Most High God's telling us, don't be afraid of these people. Yeah, these people going to be 10 foot tall. We only grow but so tall. But he said, I'm the one that go before you. How did you not listen when they said, go kill them people? What was that, Kadesh Barnea? He said, go kill them. Y'all already won the fight. What do you mean we won the fight? We didn't even fight yet, but you want to fight, go up there and go get it. It's yours. But fear took over. It got into your heart. It got into the integral parts of your heart. And you start to shake in your boots and we're not going to go up. Let's read.
22. And Yehovah thy God will cast out those nations before thee by little and little.
Right.
Thou mayest not consume them quickly, lest the beast of the field increase upon thee.
Because what would happen if the Most High God killed all those people? We wouldn't be able to control the things that he gave us dominion of. Is that a fact? So he said, I'm going to kill them off, little by little. Tamshi.
But Yehovah thy God shall deliver them up before thee, and shall discomfort them with a great discomfiture, until they be destroyed.
Right.
And he shall deliver their kings into thy hand, and thou shalt make their name to perish from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand against thee until thou hast destroyed them.
You mean that it's only going to be Israelite kings and queens?
That's right.
Princesses and princes, and chiefs. No more will we have czars and all these other funny titles. When I, it's funny, you know, and you got to watch what you say when we on the internet. But when you see those different people on the other side of the ocean and they call themselves kings and queens, and it's hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me. But the Most High God said, he said, I'm going to rise you to jealousy with a no nation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is what you get. This is your makkah. That's right. So now, again, put yourself in that seat. Moshe is talking to you. Pay attention.
The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not covet the silver or the gold that is on them.
Put them in a museum.
Nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein.
Hold it for people to. You're not supposed to put these things in a museum.
For it is an abomination to Yehovah thy God.
So hold on. So I'm walking down the street, and this actually happened. I saw an iced out cross. Iced out, gold and diamonds in it. What you think I did? I ran away from that thing because I remember this portion. I remember what Moshe said to me. He said, the silver, the gold is on them. He said, you don't take it. Because had I picked that thing up and took it to the pawn shop or the jewelry store and tried to, I don't know what could have happened to me. Time sheet.
And thou shalt not bring an abomination into thy house.
Oh.
Be a curse like unto it. Thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it,
for it is a devoted thing. Okay, so I want to just spend a moment on this verse right here. And I hope no one gets offended, because I don't intend to offend anyone, right? This is the reason that I don't wear Nikes. This is the reason I don't wear Evisu. This is the reason I don't wear True Religion. This is the reason I don't wear all those funny things. I used to drive a Mazda. Mazda is the name of a god. Absolutely. When I found that out, no more Mazda for me. I couldn't wait to get rid of that car. But he said it's a devoted thing. And what we have to realize is when the Most High God said, El Quana, he said, a jealous God. I don't know what made God jealous. He never told me. He never whispered in my ear, these are the things that make me jealous. But we know what makes the Most High God jealous when you're talking about false God. What is your God? What's your God? I saw a guy the other day, no lie. He had a toothbrush and he was cleaning his car, getting into the crevices with his toothbrush. Is that your God? Is your clothes your God? What's your God? Is the money your God? There's a lot of different gods out there. And the Most High God is jealous. He wouldn't have left it on record if he wasn't. Some of the same attributes that we have, that the Most High has, we have. Jealousy. Take a man and a woman, a relationship. Take that. Imagine your woman just keep talking about this guy. Oh man, this guy, he just works at my job. Oh my goodness, he is just amazing. You know, and I found out he's reading the same book that I'm reading. I'm like, oh yeah? So he could read, huh? He know how to read, huh? Oh yeah? Nobody cares. Because now that jealousy is starting to get riled up. The Most High God said, I'm a jealous God. I don't know if some of the things that we do make him jealous, but I'm not going to tempt him. I'm not that bold. I'm sorry. Let's go. And for those of you who out there wearing those things, yeah, do the research. Like I said, I'm not here to attack you, but just do the research. Slowly but surely we get better and better. Time sheet.
Chapter 8. All the commandment which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which Jehovah swore unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Jehovah thy God hath led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, that he might afflict thee to prove thee to know that what was in thy heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
Because he had to put us to the test. You know, they say you never know who a person is until you're put to the test. That friend that you have, how do you know if it's a real friend if you never been through nothing with them? The Most High God had to test us because he wanted to see what was in our hearts. If we gonna flake. Did we flake? As soon as Moshe went up in the mount, we put the pressure on Aharon. Aharon. We ain't seen Moses, and Moses is gone, man. He's dead. Build us a God that we can see. We need something. Why did y'all bring us out of Egypt? We hungry. We had onions. We had fish. We had all type of things, man. We had it all. Time sheet.
And he afflicted thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not.
Manna? Manna? I don't care if the Pharaoh gave me his scraps, I was eating better than manna. Bring me back to Egypt. What's wrong with y'all? Who's ready to go? Yeah, we all ready to go, yeah. Because that's how we are. Who's ready to go back to America? Hold on. So we may not have flat screen TVs when the Most High God bring us back to the land. We may or we may not. Y'all ready to leave it? PlayStations? Don't let me start naming vices now. Because we going to start getting weaker and weaker. Are we ready? Time sheet.
Neither did thy fathers know that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by everything that proceedeth out of the mouth of Jehovah doth man live.
Right.
Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years.
Did he not talk about that last week? Imagine that. Look at the cheap things we wear on our feet. Yeah, they fly, they look good. But you talking about 40 years? You know how vain we are. We must have been rotten to the core. And I'm sick of wearing these sandals, Moses. But they still in good condition. Usually, you know, when we was back in Egypt, these straps would have been popped. But these are still good. Time sheet.
And thou shalt consider in thy heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so Jehovah thy God chasteneth thee.
Why not? If you do wrong, you get critiqued, you get criticized, you get a mocker, you get chastised. Yeah, the love with love, because that's what it's about. Nobody wants to beat their child up to the point where they just, you know, not moving. You know, and sometimes as men, you don't realize how strong you are when you're throwing them punches. And you got to ease off. And then you got to learn, you know what? Let me talk. Let me not punch. Let's talk. I want to find out what's going on with you. Talk to me. But if talking don't work, all right, well, I know what you like, so you can't go there. I know you like to do this, so you can't do that. And if all else fails, spare the rod, spoil the child. But we do have to learn how to talk. Some sheep.
And thou shalt keep the commandments of Jehovah thy God to walk in his ways and to fear him.
That's right. What does it mean to fear God? Because in my mind, first of all, growing up in this way of life, I've always been afraid of God. I am afraid to break the Shabbat. I'm afraid of a lot of things. I am afraid to commit adultery. Furthermore, I don't want nobody's woman. What I want to go behind you for? I'm afraid. It says, walk in his ways and fear God. Time sheet.
For Jehovah thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, fountains and depths, springing forth in valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates.
Let me make y'all jealous. Let me make y'all jealous. Because if those of you, Zakar went, maybe a few people in this place went, when you go to the land of Israel and you start seeing these things, when you go and you see a whole field of olive trees, it's amazing. When you can go and pick an almond, whoa. This woman had a pomegranate tree. White woman. I knocked on her door. I said, can I? She said, you don't ever have to ask me. She said, anytime you want something, you come and you come get it. I was there. I was picking pomegranates every day. I wasn't ODing, but yeah, I'll take a pomegranate today. You go outside and you pick some olives. Do you understand what this is? I could never understand this until I actually went there and saw it. A field full of banana trees. Come on, man. Tom Sheet.
A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. And thou shalt eat and be satisfied. And bless your Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee.
So you talking about all the natural elements that are in those grounds? Those are all for us? The brass, the gold, the diamonds, all of those things that people, what they call it, conflict. You know, you go to Africa, they have conflict diamonds. They rape the land. They take all the natural elements out of the land. The Most High God intended those things to be for us. All of those things. I mean, it's innumerous. When you just read it, the vines and the fig trees and the pomegranates and the barley and everything. Everything that your heart desires. Your needs. Because you don't need all this stuff. This is just part of the blessing that I'm giving you. Now listen, we're listening to Moshe talk, but are we taking it in? No. He's telling us this is the goods that you're going to get. It's like getting a birthday. You know you're getting this birthday gift that you've been wanting for so long. You know how your heart feels? You just feel so elated. Moshe, that's times 1,000. Tom Sheet.
Beware lest thou forget Yahweh thy God in not keeping his commandments and his statutes and his ordinances, which I command thee this day.
I love that word, beware. Hishamru. Tishamer. Watch yourself. Right. The root word is shamar, to watch, to keep. Watch yourself, lest you forget. How we forget? How did we forget these things? When did we become so crazy? When did we bump our heads? Tom Sheet.
Lest when thou hast eaten and art satisfied, and hast built goodly houses and dwelt therein.
I did that.
And when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget Yahweh thy God, who brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Look at this house that I built, man. I built that. Yeah. But the Most High God provided all the materials. He gave you the strength to get your legs up. He gave you the strength to take a hammer and put some nails in it. And to put everything in there. And we got the nerve. That's us. I could see when the Most High told, he said, get you goodly men of renown, men that have wisdom and knowledge. And of course we had those ones that came up and like, look no further, Moses. I've heard that you were looking for able men. That's not us? Look no further, Moses. I'm here. I'm here to judge the people righteously. You know, the righteous don't call themselves righteous. I hear people say it all the time. Bro, I'm humble, man. I just try to be humble. I'm humble. Humble people don't say they're humble. Just be humble. Time sheet.
Who led thee through the
Where we at?
great and dreadful wilderness, wherein were serpents, fiery serpents, and scorpions, and thirsty ground, where was no water. Who brought thee forth water out of a rock of flint.
Hold on a second. First of all, serpents, snakes, and scorpions can kill you. You mean that the Most High God provided and protected us from all of those things? You ever seen a snake? Oh, first of all, I'm going to put my emo in blast. my ima, Gaveret Keturah, is a snake killer. She has no fear of snakes. She picked up a snake, and I'm like, she'd send us pictures. First of all, would you put in a pillowcase and smashed it? A what? A Target bag? She picked up. Listen, man, I don't play with snakes. I saw a snake when I was in Israel. It was a little snake, and all the people were like, "Oh, look at the little snake," and I'm in the back like, where there's a baby snake, there's a mama snake. What you talking about? Oh, let's get close and look at the snake. No, I'm good. I'm gonna stand back here. A scorpion. We were hiking on a mountain, and the tour guide said, when you see rocks, if you see a rock that you like, just let me know before you touch it. He said, let me show you guys something. And he picked up a rock, and there was a scorpion under there. I said, no. I'm not touching no rocks. I'm not bringing no souvenirs home. What are you talking about? All the souvenirs that I buy are going to be in the store. No. It was a scorpion under the rock. I said, nope, I'm good. Fiery serpents, scorpions, these are the things that put venom inside you and make you crazy. They can kill you, stop your heart. I don't play with God's creations. Tom sheet.
Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not.
Hold on. I skipped the water. How you get water from a rock? Only. I mean, how spoiled were we? The Most High God called us Yeshurun, right? We waxed fat and kicked. We were so spoiled to the point where we just couldn't appreciate any of those things. I'm told. We couldn't appreciate any of those things. Tamshi, the manna. He said it was sweet, like coriander seed. The Most High God went in the kitchen and cooked up a meal for us and then threw it at us, and all we had to do was go out there and collect it and say Todah. King Todah, Yah, for this meal that you have provided for us. But where's the onions? You know, can I get a little basar, a little chicken or something? The graves of lust, right? What was that? Quiriot Hata'awa, the graves of lust. Because we lusted for meat. We wanted something. We had chicken. And the Most High God sent quails. And he said, you're not going to eat for a day. You know, I'm going to say it's a whole month. You're going to feed yourselves until you get sick. Your eyes are too big. The eyes are bigger than your stomach. That's what my emo used to tell us all the time. Because as soon as the food come in the house, we want to eat it all. I have that and I have this. Lust. And we wanted more. And the Most High God, okay, I'm going to feed you till you can't eat no more. Time sheet.
That he might afflict thee, and that he might prove thee to do thee good at the latter end. 17. And thou say in thy heart, my power and the might of my hand have gotten me this wealth.
Oh, man.
But thou shalt remember Yahweh thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he swore unto thy fathers, as it is this day.
And this is when amnesia was created. Amnesia. Time sheet.
And it shall be, if thou shalt forget Yahweh thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them and worship them, I forewarn you this day, that ye shall surely perish.
You shall surely perish. Because we always want what we can't see. We can't see the Most High. You can't touch the Most High. You can't have a conversation with the Most High. So I want something that I could, it's just a little idol. I just keep it on my mantle in my living room because, I feel like it communicates with me and it just, it helped me to get. Since when? Oh, the lucky rabbit's foot. You remember that was a big deal back in the day? What? And they was actually carrying a rabbit's foot on a keychain. You don't need nothing but the Most High God. You ain't gonna never be able to see him unless he wants you to see him. And you ain't gonna be here to tell it either. Tom Sheet.
As the nations that Yahweh maketh to perish before you, so shall ye perish. Because you were not hearkening unto the voice of Yahweh your God.
That's what you get. That's what you get. And now we're listening to these things, and I could just imagine the people sitting there listening to Moshe speak, and they had to be feeling bad in their hearts. They had to be. And they just, I'm sure some of them crying and just listening because I just lost my father last week, and he was part of that rebellion, that 40 years of stubbornness, you remember? So they had to be attentive to Moshe and listen. Tom Sheet.
Chapter 9. Hear, O Yisrael, thou art to pass over the Jordan this day, to go and to dispossess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fortified up to heaven.
Right.
A people great and tall, the sons of the Anakim whom thou knowest.
Hold on, you going too far, man. We got to fight those people. You see the structures that they build? Do you see the Empire State Building? Like, how are we supposed to fight them? The Most High God provides. Tom Sheet.
And of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the sons of Anak?
It was a saying. It was a saying. Go ahead.
Know therefore this day that Yahweh thy God is he who goeth over before thee as a devouring fire. He will destroy them and he will bring them down before thee. So shalt thou drive them out and make them to perish quickly, as Yahweh have spoken unto thee.
Just like last week's portion when we read in Isaiah 40. And the Most High God said, I'm going to go as a mighty man. He said, I'm going to go before you as a devouring fire. All you have to do is fight. Just show up to the fight. Swing your sword.
Yeah.
Is that it? Tom Sheet.
Speak now thou in thy heart. See God. Speak not thou in thy heart. After that Yahweh thy God hath thrust them out from before thee, saying, For my righteousness Yahweh hath brought me into to possess this land. Whereas for the wickedness of these nations, Yahweh doth drive them out from before thee.
Because I went to Shabbat 7 times in a row, man. And every time they ask for donations and obligations, I give Chief Aquana $100 every time. You know what I'm saying? And when they needed a work detail, a cleanup crew, I was there. I'm humble. You ain't did nothing. I don't care if you give Chief Aquana $100 for the next 50 years. It ain't because of your righteousness that you're getting what you get. If the Most High God bless you with a new car, a new house, a new job, torah YAH. When somebody be like, yo, man, that's a fresh fit, torah YAH. Torah YAH. That's a nice car, torah YAH. Because he allowed me to get it.
That's a fact.
I ain't do this by myself. You bunch of Nino Browns. You ain't do this by yourself. We built this. Tom Sheet.
Not for thy righteousness or for the uprightness of thy heart dost thou go in to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations, Jehovah thy God doth drive them out from before thee, and that he may establish the word which he swore to unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov. Because
yes, he used them as a makkah stick for us, but they overdid it. Most High God said, put their face in the dirt. He put his face in the dirt, and he put his foot on our neck, and he stomped on our head, and mushed our face in the dirt, and then they spit on us, and then they kicked us, and then they raped us, and then they robbed us, and they overdid it for their wickedness. Tamshi.
Know therefore that it is not for thy righteousness that Yehovah thy God
We don't have no
gives thee the land
righteousness.
to possess it, for thou art a stiff-necked people.
Koshe Oref. That's part of the Nagun Karata that we say in on Yom Kippur, right? Yeah, we were stiff-necked people. Tamshi.
Remember, forget thou not how thou didst make Yehovah thy God roar in the wilderness, from the day that thou didst go forth out of the land of Egypt until you came unto this place. Ye have been rebellious against Yehovah.
Remember, don't you forget it. How many times have Moshe said that? Remember this, you remember you did that, and you remember you did this, remember this, and remember that. Don't want you to forget it. Because if you keep those things in the back of your head, it may cause you to humble yourself and bethink yourself. Bethink yourself. Right? You in a relationship and you did something wrong and you feel bad about it, but now things are good. You still have to remember the things that you did wrong so that you could get better and bethink yourself and be like, you know what? I never want to make that person feel like this again. Let me think about the things that I did. Bethink yourself. Tamshi.
Also in Horeb he made Yehovah wroth, and Yehovah was angered with you to have destroyed you. When I was going up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant which Yehovah made with you. Then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water.
Remember Joshua said, there's a war. There's a war going on outside, Moshe. No man is safe from. Moshe said, that ain't no war. That's a party. They in effect. They fetting down there. What you mean? They fetting. And what happened? Because we always want something. He said the gods will be a snare unto us. Moshe went up there to go get the law, the Torah. And we thought Moshe was a goner. And we always just take it to the you know, they say give an inch, take a mile. That's us. We take 10 miles. Tamshi.
And Yehovah delivered unto me the 2 tables of stone written with the finger of Yah. And on them was written according to all the words which Yehovah spoke with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that Yehovah gave me the 2 tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant. And Yehovah said unto me, arise, get thee down quickly from hence. For thy people that thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have dealt corruptly. They are quickly turned aside of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image.
I like to think, what was going through Moshe's head when he was telling these people this? Because in last week's portion, he told them, well, it's because of y'all that I can't go in.
Yeah.
I know he wish he took that deal. Yeah. Most High God said, I will destroy these people and make a nation out of you. Yes, sir. But the meekness of Moshe said, no, please, save these people. Moshe was amazing. Because most people would have went for that. The Eraniyah. Whoa. I mean, come on. Tamshi.
Furthermore, Yehovah spoke unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people.
Right.
Let me alone that I may destroy them, and blot out their name from under heaven, and I will make of thee a great and mightier. See, I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they.
Because he wants us to remember. Remember, I fought on your behalf. But who prayed for Moses? Who prayed for his life? We were ready to stone him at every given moment when we didn't get our way. We talked about him. We murmured. Yo, Moshe and Aharon, man, I could do that job, man. Who chose them? Yeah, they think they better than all of us, man. Time sheet.
So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire.
Mm.
And the 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, and behold, ye had sinned against Yahweh your God. Ye had made you a molten calf. Ye had turned aside quickly out of the way which Yahweh had commanded you.
Because he said you turned aside quickly. You were in Egypt for 400 years. And in 40 days, you turn aside quickly. That's a quick turnaround. I got to wait 50-something days to get a check. Sometimes. I do. You do a job in, certain companies. In 40 days, y'all was already serving more gods? So if I don't get my check, I'm waiting for this check. You didn't provide this check for me, y'all. We crazy. Time sheet.
And I took hold of the 2 tables and cast them out of my 2 hands and broke them before your eyes, and I fell down before Yahweh as at the first 40 days and 40 nights.
Because Moshe had in his heart that this is the beginning of a new people, a new start, a fresh start. We gonna get it together. And then when he saw this thing, he's like, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I can't believe I've been fighting for these people. I've been on my face bowing before the Most High for this wicked people at every turn. Time sheet.
I did neither eat bread nor drink water because of all your sin which ye sinned, and doing that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him. For I was in dread of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith Yahweh was wroth against you to destroy you. But Yahweh hearkened unto me that time also. Moreover, Yahweh was very angry with Aharon to have destroyed him. And I prayed for Aharon also the same time.
Pray for him too.
And I took your sin, the calf which he had made, and burnt it with fire, and beat it in pieces, grinding it very small until it was as fine as dust. And I cast the dust thereof into the brook that descended out of the mount.
And what did he make them do? But Te'avon. You thirsty? Time sheet.
And that Tabira and that Masa and that Kibrot Hata'awa ye made Yahweh.
What's Tabira? The burning. Masa, that's the waters, right? Kibrot Hata'awa, that was the graves of lust, right? When we wanted the meat and we wanted everything. We tried the Most High God so many times, and we still trying him. We're still trying him. I can't, for the life of me, understand why Israelites that have been in this way of life for years decide that they want to turn aside. I can't understand why Israelites in this way of life decide they want to commit adultery. I can't understand why we do the things that we do. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Time sheet.
And when Yahweh sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, go up and possess the land which I have given you, then you rebelled against the commandment of Yahweh your God, and ye believed him not, nor hearkened to his voice. Ye have been rebellious against Yahweh from the day that I knew you.
Wow.
So I fell
from the day of your conception, you've been a rebellious people. Time sheet.
So I fell down before Yahweh the 40 days and 40 nights that I fell down, because Yahweh has said he would destroy you. And I prayed unto Yahweh and said, O Yahweh God, destroy not thy people and thy inheritance that thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, that thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand.
This is a serious talk that Moshe has given us. Are y'all in those seats? Are y'all listening to Moshe talk to you? Put yourself in those shoes. You feel bad? You should. We're guilty as charged. Time sheet.
Remember thy servants Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Look not upon the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin. Lest the land whence thou broughtest us out say, because Yahweh was not able to bring them into the land which he promised unto them, and because he hated them, he hath brought them out to slay them in the wilderness. Yet they are the people, yet they are thy people, and thine inheritance, and thou didst bring out by thy great power and by thy outstretched arm.
Now let's not get it twisted. The Most High doesn't take counsel from Moshe.
No, sir.
Moshe just gave a suggestion. He pleaded. He asked.
Right.
God didn't listen to Moses and say, okay, I will take your advice and I'll do this. Because when Moses said, can I please go into the land? He said, no, and don't ask me again. And get back to work. Because you still have got more work to do. This is him doing the work right now after being told no. Tamshi.
Chapter 10. At that time Yahweh said unto me, hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and come up unto me in the mount, and make thee an ark of wood, and I will write on the tables the words that I were on the first tables, which thou didst break, and I shall put them in the ark.
Okay, so now, there's no contradiction in the Torah. In this portion, it makes it seem like that the Most High wrote these a second time. But if you go back to Exodus, the 34th chapter, and read the entire chapter from 1 to the end of 27, you get clarity and you see that the Most High told Moshe to write it after reiterating all the laws. You have to read the 34th chapter to get understanding. So Moshe actually wrote the second tablets. Tamshi.
So I made an ark of acacia wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount having the 2 tables in my hand. And he wrote on the tables according to the first writing the 10 words which Yahweh spoke unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And Yahweh gave them unto me.
Because the Most High God intended on doing it a second time. But after Moshe heard these words, he was so riled up in his spirit that he wrote it. The Most High God commanded him. So you have to actually go back to understand this part. Tamshi.
And I turned and came down from the mount and put the tables in the ark which I had made. And there they are as Yahweh commanded me.
What else is in the ark? This is the ark of the covenant that we're talking about, right? Manna. And what else? The rod of Aharon. Remember the rod that budded the almonds? Tamshi.
And the children of Israel journeyed from Beirut, Bnei Yaakon to Mosera. Then Aharon died, and there he was buried. And Eleazar his son ministered in the priest's office in his stead. From thence they journeyed unto Gudgad, and from Gudgad to Yotba, a land of brooks of water. At that time Yahweh separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, to stand before Yahweh to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi have no portion nor inheritance with his brethren. Yahweh is his inheritance.
That's right.
According as Yahweh thy God spoke unto him. Now I stayed in the mount as at the first time 40 days and 40 nights, and Yahweh hearkened unto me that time also. Yahweh will not destroy thee. And Yahweh said unto me, arise, go before the people, causing them to set forward, and that they may go in and possess the land which I swore unto their fathers to give unto them.
What a job Moshe had. What a job. Moshe did not ask for this job. He was chosen. He was commanded to do this job. He didn't want it. He was good. He was happy after he left Egypt. He met Zipporah. They were happy. They had children. Right? He had the toughest job you can ever get, to lead this people of Yisrael. A stubborn and stiff-necked people. A people that, first of all, the Most High God said, Pharaoh's not going to listen to you. So why are you sending me? Because I told you to go. He had a hard job. And when it talks about Lewi, it says Lewi have no portion. He said Yah is his inheritance.
That's right.
That is an amazing portion. Any Levite who doesn't understand that is crazy. To stand before the Most High God and to do his work is a blessing. Most High God created a retirement plan for the Levites. The Most High God had it set up. It was, I couldn't wait till I turned 30. Because I felt like this is it. I got to get myself together. 25 to 30, you got to be gearing yourself up. Right? As a Levite. And then he said at 50, now you become a supervisor.
Yep.
You don't stop working, but you become a supervisor. You get a promotion. The Most High God is great.
That's right.
Oh, man, great segue. So we have here today one of my favorite Levites, Zaquain Yekesquiel Ben Lewi. Seren? Seren. Cain, Seren Yekesquiel Ben Lewi. And he's been around for a very long time. He's one of the elder Levites, and we love him here. And I thank the Most High God for your life. And I tried to move fast so you could get a word in, but it's already 2 o'clock and we still going. I'm going to try to get through this. Time sheet.
And now, Yisrael, what doth Yehovah thy God require of thee? But to fear Yehovah thy God, to walk in all his ways and to love him, and to serve Yehovah thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
That's it.
To keep for thy good the commandments of Yehovah and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Because that's your life. If you want good, do good. If you know better, do better. If you want evil, then go get it. You're going to get what you asked for. You know, they always say be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. You know, one thing, you know, my brother, he spoke on this last week, and he said, I asked the Most High God for a blessing, and he always gives it to me in the form of work. You got to get it. Same thing happened to me. You know, I was one of those people, man, I hope I get hit with $50,000 across my face as I walk out the house. Most High God is not going to give it to you like that. Just, you know, you ain't going to find a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The Most High God said, I'll give you a phone call. And the phone call said, hey, I need my whole house rewired. Cha-ching, that's money to me. Get to work, go make it. That's it. Right. Time sheet.
Behold, unto Yehovah thy God belongeth the heaven and the heaven of heavens, the earth with all that therein is.
That's right.
Only Yehovah had a delight in thy fathers to love them.
Ah.
And chose their seed after them, even you above all peoples, as it is this day.
Right. So in our prayers, we should be praying for the memory of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Yah, remember and hear the prayers of Avraham. Remember the prayers of Yitzchak and Yaakov. Remember the covenant.
That's right.
Remember the covenant and the prayers of our mothers and our fathers. And I got a new song coming out too, and it's gonna be nice. And it's on along the same lines. Time sheet.
Circumcised, therefore, the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For Yehovah your God, he is God of gods.
That's right.
The Lord of lords.
Right.
The great God.
Uh-huh.
The mighty and the awful.
Right.
The God of not persons, nor taketh reward.
Right.
He doth execute justice for the fatherless and widows, and loveth the stranger, and giveth him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Whoa. Love the stranger?
That's right.
Hold on. You said love the stranger. Okay, so now let's say that the people that are in the land of Israel right now, you know, do you think they love the strangers that come in there?
Nah.
They can't, right? Not the way they turn those Sudanese down. And when they came and they said, we're Israelites too. And the way they treat the Ethiopians there that they brought in the 80s. I was there and I saw an old lady. I was eating pizza and she was busting the table down. She could hardly walk. I felt so bad. I gave her a $50 bill.
That's right.
I sure did. I folded it up and I was like, hey, mother. We're still at the bottom of the totem pole there. Time sheet.
Thou shalt fear Yehovah thy God. Him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave, and by his name shalt thou swear.
Right. In righteousness, I swear to God I was there. You was nowhere over there, man. We always swearing in the Most High's name and falsely. I swear, man, I wouldn't lie. Time sheet.
He is thy glory, and he is thy God that have done for thee these great and tremendous things which thine eyes have seen.
Right.
Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons.
70 people.
And now Yahweh thy God have made thee as the stars of heaven for multitude.
A multitude. Won't he do it? Like they say. Won't he do it? Time sheet.
Therefore, Sidra, chapter 11, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Therefore thou shalt love Yahweh thy God and keep his charge and his statutes and his ordinances and his commandments always.
That's your life right there. This whole portion can be summed up right there. He's talking to these people. Therefore, all these things that I just finished telling you, this is the end goal right here. Time sheet.
And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children that have not known, and have not seen the chastisement of Yahweh your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs and his works which he did in the midst of Egypt, unto Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and unto all his land.
Right.
And what he did unto the army of Egypt, unto their horses and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued after you.
Right.
And how Yahweh hath destroyed them unto this day.
Right.
And what he did unto you in the wilderness, until you came into this place. And what he did unto Datam and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the sons of Reuben, how the earth opened up her mouth and swallowed them up in their households and their tents and every living substance that followed them in the midst of all Yisrael. But your eyes have seen all the great work of Yahweh which he did. Therefore, shall ye keep all the commandment which I command thee this day, that ye may be strong and go in and possess the land whither you go over to possess it.
Moshe said, I'm not talking to your children. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You've seen all these things. Time sheet.
And that ye may prolong your days upon a land which Yahweh swore unto your fathers to give unto them unto their seed, a land flowing with milk and honey.
Now, you could have a good life, or you could have a short and horrible life. You could have a good, long, productive, happy life.
Right.
Or you could have a short, miserable, full of hate and evil type of life. What do you want? I remember I was like 8 years old. You know, growing up in the Hashaba, I would listen to these portions. I was one of those children, one of those young boys that always paid attention in service when I wasn't nodding off. Because sometimes you get tired and you nod off a little bit. And then I used to hear a land flowing with milk and honey. I used to think there was honey rivers in Israel. I'm like, what? You mean I could just take a cup and rinse it and scoop up some milk and what? I'm like, yo, this Israel is something else. I got to get there. But it's talking about the fullness of this land. The things that we would have, all the bountiful things. Time sheet.
For the land whither thou goest in to possess it, is not as the land of Egypt from whence ye came out.
Right.
Without this sow thy seed and this water it with thy foot as a garden of herbs.
Right.
But the land whither ye go over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water as the rain of heaven cometh down. A land which Yahweh thy God careth for. The eyes of Yahweh thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year.
Whoa, imagine that. He said, you remember y'all had to sow your seed? You had to plow the land and do all of those things? Look at this. It's already prepared. It's done already. You don't have to plant the tree. All you have to do is go in there and possess it. He said, for the eyes of Yahweh careth for. He said, the land which Yahweh thy God careth for, the eyes of Yahweh thy God are always upon it. That's right. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
That's right.
When they say God is watching you,
that's right.
Oh, God is watching. God is watching. Time sheet.
And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments which I command you this day, to love Yahweh your God, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give the rain of your land in season, the former rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil.
Oh, rain. We hate rain. Oh, it's a nasty day out. It's raining. If it don't rain, you don't eat.
That's right. Talk about it.
It's a beautiful day. I love the rain. Imagine you can't get no potatoes, no tomatoes, no onions, no watermelon. What? He said, I'm going to give you the rain when it's supposed to come.
That's right.
Because imagine when it's time for you to plant, and for those of you who are into agriculture and you know about these things, you expect rain at a certain season.
That's right.
But if you don't get rain in that season, what happens? Yeah, you in trouble. Time sheet.
And I will give grass in thy fields for thy cattle.
Because if no grass in the fields, the cattle don't eat, and then they die.
And thou shalt eat and be satisfied.
Right.
Take heed to yourselves, lest your hearts be deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them.
Hishamru.
And the anger
Watch
of Yahweh,
yourself.
And the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, so that there shall be no rain, and the ground shall not yield her fruit. And ye perish quickly from off the good land which Yahweh giveth you. Therefore shall ye lay up these words, these my words in your heart,
in your heart,
in your soul,
in your soul.
And ye shall bind them for a sign upon your hand,
and
they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and ye shall teach them your children. And you shall teach them your children, talking of them,
right,
when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way,
right,
and when thou liest down,
right,
and when thou risest up,
right.
And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thy house and upon thy gates,
right,
that your days may be multiplied in the days of your children upon the land which Yahweh swore unto your father to give them, as the days of the heaven above the earth.
This is not hard to do. The Most High God didn't tell us to do backflips. And guess what? We have fun doing this. We have fun. We're not in bondage. The Most High God don't have us as slaves. This is fun to do. It's good to be a servant of God. It's a lot of reward.
Amen.
You get promotions.
That's right. Torah YAH.
Time sheet.
For if you shall diligently keep all this commandment which I command you to do it, to love Yahweh your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then will Yahweh drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall dispossess nations greater and mightier than yourselves. Every place whereon the sole of your foot shall tread shall be yours. From the wilderness in Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even unto the hinder sea shall be your border.
So you mean everywhere I walk is mine? As far as I can walk? Yeah, it's mine. Like, how's that land? Because I just walked over there last night. Now I'm going to walk further. Yeah, that's all mine right there. Time sheet.
There shall no man be able to stand against you. Yahweh your God shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath spoken unto you. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. The Most High God is great. Were we listening to the words of Moshe? Did you put yourself in those seats? I just want to say one thing. And I neglected to say it. I knew it, but I forgot to say it. Moshe did carve the 2 tablets. Right? But, well, actually, we'll talk about that, because I want to look it up before I mention anything. You know, because sometimes you come up here and we may say things and we make mistakes, and then we'll come back and correct ourselves, because that's all about learning and teaching, and no one is perfect. So, and this is the hot seat, this is the hot spot. But I thank the Most High God for allowing me to have life on this day.
Amen.
I do